What the are we talking about today? Really? Stop censoring me for sake. I'm not cursing. You have got to be kidding me. I'm literally just saying Flux. It's the project's name. Thank God I can apparently say Flux now so we can get on with the video. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's try this again. Today we are talking about Flux coin nodes. Flux's total coin supply, 440 million tokens. Flux's circulating supply, 227 million tokens. The locked up supply of that circulating supply is 87.8 million tokens. Total percentage of coins that are locked up in the nodes as pertaining to the circulating supply, 38.27%. Total percentage of the coins locked up in nodes as it pertains to the total supply, 19.8%. Percentage of total coins recirculated back into the protocol in order to keep selling nodes, 0% so far. Flux nodes currently in operation, 2,643, and we'll get into that in just a minute. Flux time in business, 3.5 years, since August of 2018. Flux coin price at present time, about $1.41. Market cap of Flux at current price and current circulating supply is about $320 million. Flux's rank in the top cryptocurrency list, 154 at present day. How quickly do the rewards half? Every 2.5 years. Total ROI per year on a Flux node, 16.3% on your tokens. All right, now that we've got all that out of the way, I do want to say very quickly, thank you so much to everybody, seriously, for all of the new subscribers, all of the likes, all of the comments on the videos, all of the views. The channel is growing at an exponential rate. I can't even tell you how much that means to me, how much I appreciate it. And the reason why we're doing Flux now is because I'm listening to my subscribers, I'm listening to my supporters, and you are the ones requesting this video, so I'm dropping this one for you guys, just as I've been dropping a bunch of other projects that you have been requesting. So with that being said, make sure you like the video, comment anything that you want in the comments section, recommend me new projects, smash that like button like somebody just dissed your mom, make sure you hit that notification bell after you subscribe, and let's get right into it. One other quick thing before we get into the video. I do hear you in the comments asking, hey, what are good projects? What are the projects that you actually think are good? What can make us money? Blah, blah, blah. Because basically the DeFi space, as we know, is an absolute dumpster fire. So we've been working our way through that to kind of weed out the bad ones and then find the good ones, right? Once we reach 2,000 subscribers, I'm actually gonna drop a huge knowledge bomb of how you can actually make a very significant amount of money. It might not be the 3,700% APYs that everybody's out here touting and stuff like that, but this is a relatively safe investment and you can actually make a pretty significant amount of money in terms of ROI, especially if the coins appreciate in a relatively safe manner. So without hinting too much at that, again, if we get 2,000 subscribers, whenever that happens, I'm gonna drop this video, drop some knowledge on everybody. I know everybody's gonna love it. I know everyone's gonna appreciate it because I'm actually giving you a little bit of direction. And it's one of those a lot lesser known things to do, and it's because of the complexity of it. And a lot of people don't think far enough into it to understand how to make it exponentially greater. So there's something to look forward to. Now, if you like analysis like this, go ahead and watch the Strong Block videos, go ahead and watch the Thor videos. We've got one on Drip Network, we've got one on Phoenix, Titano, Vaporfy, Hive Financials coming up. Yield Nodes is coming up. So go watch the old videos and pay attention for the new ones because I'm dropping content like this literally all the time, pretty much every 2 days right now, so stay tuned. Flux is an extremely requested topic. I mean like dozens of requests. If you go in the comments section, you can see this. It's been requested a lot. And I know everybody thinks like, oh, Drew hates all projects. Drew hates all projects. No, Drew does not hate all projects. Spoiler alert, I actually like Flux and I do think it's a good project and I'm gonna tell you why here in just a second. But the majority of the DeFi space is a lot of Ponzi schemes, pyramids, multi-level marketing, high APYs that you'll never see your return on investment back unless you're one of the first people to invest in it, stuff like that. So we've been weeding through all of those to get to stuff like this. Now, you're probably wondering, what is Flux and why should I care? Well, a 16 to 17% APR is why you should care. Sustainably and like clockwork. Flux is touted as a new generation of decentralized cloud infrastructure. So think Amazon Web Services. They allow people to manage and put their applications on multiple servers all at the same time. It allows for Web 3.0 and decentralized apps as well. Basically, they're trying to be a certified cloud computing application and compete with the Amazon Web Services of the world and the Microsofts of the world at a better price point. I'm not going to get too terribly caught up in what Flux is because we can do that in another video if we need to, and there's plenty of analysis out there. You can read their white paper, you can watch other YouTube videos and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this one is all about making that money, honey. So let's get into how you can make some money with Flux. Let's break down the amount of tokens that are actually locked up in nodes right now. You know I love stats. 53.5 million tokens are locked up in their top tier Stratus node. And that means that there's 535 Stratus nodes at 100,000 tokens per node. That's actually 61.4% of the entire locked up supply, which is 87 million. And we'll get to that in just a second. 20.925 million tokens are actually locked up in the Nimbus nodes. What that means is there's 837 nodes at 25,000 tokens per node. That is 24% of the locked up supply. 12.71 million tokens are locked up in the cumulus node. That means there's 1,271 cumulus nodes at 10,000 tokens per node. This makes up the other 14.6% of the total locked up tokens that are locked up in nodes. I told you I would touch on this. If you add all of those together, all of those tokens together, it actually equals 87.605 million tokens. You can see this on their website too. So that's how I got those calculations. At 87 million divided by the circulating supply is 38.27% of the circulating supply locked up in nodes right now. That shows an incredible amount of confidence in this project by the node holders. 19.8% of the entire total supply, the 440 million, is locked up in nodes right now. That's pretty substantial. Now that we know all of that, there's some big news that they've got in the pipeline. So we're going to cover that next. Because I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, 100,000 Flux at $1.41 a piece, that's a $141,000 node. Even the 10,000 Flux node is going to be, $14,000. That's not necessarily affordable for everyone, and I get that. So we'll get into that right now. They are fixing this. I want to touch on one other thing really quick. They have parallel assets, and what parallel assets are is a Flux pairing on other chains. So think Binance chain, think Ethereum chain. You can actually receive airdrops of those tokens and actually earn your money back faster because they have these other chains that they run on and help mine. So you can earn those in one of two ways. You can either be a Flux node holder and get it airdropped, or you can be a Flux miner, which means that you are solving the transactions on the blockchain and then you're paid out in that native token. Any of these 5 and new 5 tokens that are coming in the future, as well as being paid out in Flux. These pairings are absolutely huge because they allow you to earn your ROI back faster and scale your nodes at an exponential rate. So a lot of these are like literally the best tokens in the entire cryptocurrency space, and that's just facts. So a couple of them are Tron and Solana, and then there's 3 others that we'll talk about in a few minutes. So they actually dropped Tron and Solana to all the node holders 2 times back in December of 2021 alone. So you can see where this will start adding up. So what are the new pairings that they're looking to bring in? These are going to be exciting. Let's be real. These are absolutely exciting. Matic, AVAX, Atom, Cardano, and Polkadot are the 5 that they're looking to bring in, on top of the 5 that they already have. Now, if that's not exciting and those aren't like the top tier coins, then look at the previous 5 coins that they have on there, like Binance, Ethereum, Solana, etc., right? Getting back to the nodes, there's going to be new tiers rolling out, and we'll talk about that literally right now. The old model had only 3 tiers: Cumulus, Nimbus, and Stratus. So Cumulus, you have to have 10,000 tokens and you get 7.5% of the block reward. Nimbus was 25,000 Flux, but you get 12.5% of the block reward. Stratus is the absolutely astronomical one. It's 100,000 Flux and you get 30% of the block reward. So Cumulus is actually going to 1,000 tokens now. It'll no longer be 10,000 tokens. This starts on the 12th of March and it ends on March 26th. So this is happening like that. This node will now go from a cost of like $14,000 to now 1.4K. Much easier to deal with, right? Now, Nimbus goes from 25,000 down to 12,500 Flux. This starts on the 19th of March and ends on March 27th. So again, this is happening lickety split. This node would actually cost about $17,600 now, so it's actually priced pretty close to where the cumulus used to be. And then of course the Stratus goes from 100,000 tokens down to 40,000 tokens. It starts on March 27th and it ends on April 10th. And then they're adding two new nodes. There's the Cirrus and then there's Project Titan, and these will actually be off-chain. So for the Cirrus, you can buy in with anywhere from 5 to 100 Flux. Project Titan will be a group node project where you throw your tokens in and then they create nodes out of all of those tokens pooled together. So it's 250 tokens at the minimum, up to 10,000 tokens. They said that they are absolutely not changing any of the rewards tiers in terms of what you get paid out. So the calculations are the same, but the answers are different. So now you're wondering, how do I make money with this project? Besides just holding the coin and letting it appreciate, hopefully. So the first thing is going to be nodes. You host the network with your node, you have to use a VPS, and you're basically providing them storage. You're providing them cloud infrastructure that they can then rent out and make money on. One disclaimer, you do not actually have to give up all of your tokens in order to host the node. So you're also paid out in parallel assets. So that's where the other 5 assets come into play, and then the new 5 assets, which will make them 10, come into play because you can actually make exponentially more money by being paid out in those parallel assets as well. So here's what the rewards looked like under the old model and what they'll look like under the new model that they're going to in literally 2 weeks. So on the cumulus, you make about $200 a month. This is the lowest tier node. That is about 140 Flux and a 1.4% per month ROI. That's about 16.8% per year. The payoff period for this node is actually 70.5 months. This is assuming that the token doesn't go up, and this is also assuming that the token doesn't go down. Now, to understand what you would get in the new rewards model, you would have to divide all of that by 10. So this would be about $20 per month, 14 Flux, and still the same ROI. Now, for the Nimbus, you make about $500 a month. That equates out to about 358 Flux. This is also about 1.43% ROI per month, but that equates out to about 17.16% per year. The payoff period on this node is a little bit quicker, 69.83 months. Now again, remember, we're assuming that the coin price doesn't go up, the coin price doesn't go down. So for the Nimbus, since you're only having to put in 12,500 tokens instead of 25,000, you would just divide that in half. You're making $250 a month, or around 175 Flux coins, right? And your ROI and payoff period stays the same. So this is where it gets wild. The Flux Stratus actually brings in about $1,900 a month at current USD value. What that means is you're bringing in about 1,361 Flux per month. The ROI monthly on that is only 1.36%, so it's actually the lowest one, but the highest amount of capital. This is around a 73.5 month payoff period if you want the ROI on your coins. That means you're making about 16.32% per year. And again, we're assuming that the coin doesn't go up, we're assuming it doesn't go down, stays the same. If it does go up, everybody's dancing, we're all happy, we're doing our thing, even better, beautiful. If it goes down, everybody's sad, we're all crying, blah, blah, blah. 40,000 is 40% of 100,000. So times that by 0.4 means you make about $768 a month. And it also means that you make about 545 Flux per month. The payoff period and the ROI remains the same, as we already know. Now, Project Titan is the actual Flux team hosting group nodes. And then they pay out the rewards proportional to your ownership stake in that node. So if you put up 10,000 tokens and they made a 40,000 token node, you would get 25% of the rewards. This node actually has a lockup period of 6 months. So it's not like the other nodes. You actually have to keep your coins in that for 6 months and you can't get them out. But you can take your profits at any time that you want. Now, for the Cirrus nodes, the rewards, they haven't really said too much, but they'll be based on the dApps that are installed and running, and then the dApps that are spawned on the network. So whatever that means, I don't know yet. So if you know, let me know. Now, the second way you can make money with this is mining. So Flux actually is its own chain. You can mine their token, and you can do this if you want to anyways and not even go buy the coin. You can literally mine the coin. We're not gonna get too much into the mining aspect of it because it's not the point of this video, but that's another way that you can make money with this protocol. Now, there's a third way, and I really like this because it actually helps you kind of compound your profits. I know everybody's all about that compounding, right? So what you can do is you can stake your coins as well. Now, you're not gonna be getting to 700 billion% APY like you would with Time Wonderland or Hector, but you see how those investments worked out anyways. This is sustainable. This actually is built for growth. This is very in line with other types of investments in the financial industry. It makes sense. The numbers behind it make sense. The percentages you make sense in this. And you could actually make, maybe 1% or so every month on those rewards and help yourself get to those new nodes faster. Now, how do you stake it? You got to go onto CoinMetro, but you got to lock your tokens up. Now, you have to have at least 500 Flux in order to be able to do this. So there's 4 different ways that you can stake: 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, and a year. So for 1 month, you get a 9% APR, which basically means 9% per year. Divide that by 12, it's less than 1% a month. Okay, cool. 3 months, you get a 10.5% APR. 6 months is a 12% APR. And the best one is 13.5% if you lock your tokens up for a year. I just think it's a good way to earn some extra money and compound whenever you can. One caveat to that: if you break the contract early, that means if you have a 3-month contract and you break it after 2 months, they take 50% of your rewards. You can still have your principal, you can still have half of your rewards, but they take the other 50% because you broke the contract and they were counting on keeping those tokens in the protocol so that they could go out and make money on those tokens. Now, one thing you're probably wondering is how does Flux afford to pay all of this out, right? Well, technically it's not that much in terms of percentages per year. We see that the APYs are 16 to 17%. That's not that hard, especially when you're mining your own stuff and they're doing what I'm about to talk about. Flux actually splits their block rewards in between the miners and the node holders. A lot of projects don't do this right now, which I think is awesome on Flux, because we see what Strongblock and Thor and all these other node projects, they don't get paid at all for helping people host their networks, but you do actually legitimately, and you can fact check this, get paid for helping Flux host their network. Now, each block mines 75 Flux. So how is that distributed? 50% of that block reward goes to the miners, the people that are mining it. Then the other 50% goes to the node holders. 7.5% or 5.625 Flux tokens per block goes to the cumulus. 12.5% or 9.375 Flux goes to the Nimbus node holders. And then 30% or 22.5 Flux goes to the big dogs, the Stratus node holders. Flux also has 5 parallel assets that we were talking about earlier, and this helps you actually get your ROI back faster. Beautiful, love it, let's hear about it. These assets are actually interchangeably 1-to-1 to the Flux token. So if you get 10,000 Flux Tron pair airdrop to you, then you can actually trade that out for 10,000 Flux. The reason they do this is so that everyone has access to multiple blockchains. And they're looking to make those blockchains interchangeable with the Flux blockchain. This essentially gives all of their investors access to all of the top DeFi platforms out there. Okay, so which ones are they? So it's Cadena, Ethereum, Binance, Solana, and Tron. And if you know anything about any of those are pretty big. Now, how do you actually host the node? So you can buy Flux on pretty much any exchange. So you have to download the Zelcore wallet, and you can get this in the description or on their website. Once you get your Flux into your Zelcore wallet, you just go to the website and you say, I want to host a node. You approve the node. Once you've done that, you've got to go to their GitHub and host the node. The way that you're going to do this is through Putty. We're not going to touch too much on it because there's already tutorials out there. If you want me to do one, I'd gladly do it. But this video is going to be long enough as it is. It's actually extremely simple. I've hosted nodes like this before, Gala, SRX, all those types of nodes. It's really not that hard. It's step by step, very easy. So the one thing that you're going to need, and you're going to have to calculate this into your ROI as well, so pay attention to that, is your VPS. Like for Gala games, I have Volter and it's hosted on Contabo, and I use Putty to host the node. Go to the Flux website and make sure that the requirements from that node are met by your VPS. And what I mean by that is like the SSD, the bandwidth, all that stuff. Once you have all of those things in place, you go to Putty, you host the node, you get everything done, and then whenever you want to cut bait and run or take your profits, you can either take your profits or you can kill the node, be gone. I know everybody's like, Drew hates all projects, blah, 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 right? Now I'm going to tell you what I like about this project. They are very transparent with their roadmap and their team and all the other things that they're doing. Their team is big and they are all like very open and out there and you know who they are and they're active. They have a partnership that's going to help them, and that partnership is in NVIDIA. And if you know anything about the gaming and the processor space, NVIDIA is huge. So the APR is actually sustainable. I love that about this. 16 to 17% is really not that hard to get, especially with the business model that they have, especially since they are actually mining it. They're not going out and getting it, right? It's similar to a Gala Games node. With that being said, they are getting like 2, 3, 4x better returns than most hedge funds or exchange traded funds. But it's not astronomically high where it makes you think like, oh, immediate red flag, 3,700% ROI. The project is built for growth, and you can see this in their ecosystem. The way that they have everything structured, the proportions of tokens, where they're going, how they're tearing their nodes down, it's built for growth. They're looking for sustainability, and they've been established in the market for over 3.5 years already. The market that they're in is absolutely huge. And even if they can just capture a small portion of it, they're going to be massive. We're talking about take 2% away from AWS and Microsoft cloud hosting, and you have an absolutely astronomical market. They aren't recycling the tokens. And what I mean by this is they haven't sold like more nodes than they have tokens, if you do the math. And they're growing at a very steady and sustainable rate. I do like that a lot. They are their own chain, so they can basically do whatever they want. Essentially, that's what they're doing. That's how they're rewarding their node holders. And I really love that. That's a great way to keep your ecosystem going. Because without the node holders, you can't host your network. And without the miners, you can't authenticate your transactions and solve those algorithmic transactions. So rewarding both of them, because they're both integral, is genius. It's inexpensive and easy to run once all of this rolls out. The project and website and just their team and the way that they have everything structured is very polished and professional. It's like a real company. I love that. They actually reward their node holders, unlike all of these fake node services in AAS, right, that don't actually have the substantiated revenue coming in to say like, yeah, we can actually pay you this. Well, where's the revenue coming from? Well, new node holders coming in. That's a Ponzi. Okay. This is not that. I love that about this project. And they're not just assuming that they can get other chains to pay them, because obviously we see that didn't work. They also have a way to compound your rewards through Coin Metro that can earn you another 1% per month on the stuff that you're already making from hosting your node. And they have a real legitimate use case, business model, and purpose. So with that being said, I honestly do like Flux a lot, and I am actually considering investing in it when these new rewards and node tiers roll out. So I'll keep you posted on that. Now, with all that being said, thank you so much for recommending this video. I actually had a really good time researching Flux, and I actually found some really good stuff on it, which I was super happy about, because I haven't really been finding a lot of good stuff in the DeFi space right now. And I'm not saying that they're a DeFi, because they're not, but that has been the consensus, is like a lot of the projects that I'm looking into aren't necessarily stuff that I want to get into. And I actually like this project. I would consider getting into this. But with that being said, do whatever you want. I'm not telling you to get in. I'm not telling you not to get in. I'm just telling you what I think of the project, bringing you the stats, bringing you the real stuff, bringing you that secret sauce that drew approval, right? And then you can do with it whatever you want. Thank you so much for showing up to the video. Thank you so much for all of the comments, all of the love, all of the support, all of the likes, all of the new subscribers. And again, keep a lookout whenever we hit 2,000 subscribers. That's what I'm saying. Share this. Let everybody know. Moonshot this so that we can get to the stuff that I'm talking about, where it's like, hey, we're going to make some real money off of these moves that we're making in the future, but I want this to reach as many people as possible. We don't just want to help 100 people. We want to help 100,000 people. And I think this could really change the game for a lot of people and give them some serious direction, instead of just throwing and degenning, right, their money into these projects that are guaranteeing them these APYs, blah, 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 and then they get wrecked. So like the video, comment anything that you want, subscribe, and make sure you bang on that notification bell. I appreciate so much everyone showing up, showing all the love and support. I will see you in the next video, and I look forward to it.